Okay, so Evernight's out, and I did try out last night, and she is really, um, like, team selected when I, like, look at her. To get max potential out of her, you have to use Remembrance characters, but that's just to buff an entire team of Remembrance characters themselves. You don't initially have to run the Remembrance characters, but I do want to see what her e- all her airline missions are. Actually, that's actually not bad. I like the inside design of the umbrella too.
Listen with me to the memories.
I wish I had gave her 3 auto animations. From I know she has like 2. So this looks like a mouth on her side. And is this black goop supposed to be Memoria? Or represent it? I don't know what's supposed to represent. Flower on the back. Pretty nice. She wanna do it? That's not the one I want.
Play nice.
Okay, one more try. One more try. Her outfit's designed really nicely. I like how they did it. I even noticed this right here. That's not the one I want to see. Just show me the second Highland mission you have. Also, why does her nails show through her gloves? I just noticed that actually. Yeah, her nails show on her gloves. Just as part of glove design itself? Or those her actual nails? No, that can't be her actual nails. Okay, yeah, you're not gonna show it.
I don't wait for it. That one is hard to persuade.
Deja vu.
Let's observe first.
Always like that time slot.
Emerge
Amazing.
from your cocoon.
Okay, so basically, I'm trying to like see if this. Okay, so what? I gained a lot, so I'm wondering, are the traces maxed out so we get the bonus abilities? Because if I'm trying to test out to see if I'm like right on what I thought it was. That anytime, like any action a Memoria takes, she will gain Memoria for. It should be like 1 stack. So, let's see. Actually, yeah. It gives 1. That does not give. Okay. So this initially gives 1. Does this give 1 as well? It does not.
Please open up to me.
So it's just when they take action.
We do need some sunshine. May this faint light dispel the gloom. Restore clear skies once more.
I want to see how much stacks of Memoria I could gain. Because currently, with me this night, she has what? She's at 300%, 90%. This gives her 52, this gives her 15, and her damage dealt is increased by 57 so far. No, this increased by 67. And then this goes up by another 15. This is damage dealt is increased by what? This was wait 27 30. Then another 10, so that's 67. That's like 100 and what? 132 maybe? 33, something like that. Okay, and the Noctis is active as well. And then this is active as well. Giving everyone extra critical damage. So what's extra? Wait, this is called Gentle Day Slip. I don't see where it's active on Cash Drives, but is it active on this? Oh yeah, so the Gentle Day Split is active, and it gives 46%. Pretty good. I'm pretty sure Ica also receives that buff as well. Wait though, Ica doesn't have. No, that's high symbol man. Ica, there we go. Yeah, Ica has it as well. Okay.
Everyone's been waiting for us.
Break's over.
Alright. So when Ica does his follow-up attack, that does give her a stack of Memoria, and this should also give her another stack.
I only wish that death may protect us.
This should consume all my stacks. Oh wait, here's me.
Everyone.
Then consumes and gives me back 2. And then if I do this, it will summon.
Don't worry. Just close your eyes.
And I should also enter the darkest tide
The
state,
night
whatever
will
it's called.
soon fall. Good night.
Okay, yeah, okay. We're in the darkest feudal state. It doesn't show how long it lasts. But the memo spray also changed. It's red now. Let's see. Deals 52% increased damage and is immune to crowd control debuffs. Okay.
Stop stressing. You have me, don't you?
And then if I use a skill,
Make sure you have fun. Rise and shine. Time to wake up.
Please cherish the time. I grant you this, as you wish.
I think she just gained Memoria from losing that, and she gained Memoria from being attacked.
I will guide with the Rainbow Bridge. We do need some sunshine.
I shall remember this work.
She gains Memoria from
Embrace
being
new
healed
life.
by
Pollux.
Hyacinthia. Then she gained another one from Ica doing its follow-up. Then she was going to gain another one from this.
Don't worry, I'll do it.
Then Tribbie hasn't gone at all yet.
We can do it all!
Summoning does not give her Memoria.
That's mean. Gotta stop them here.
This should also give Memoria, but even though it's not targeted on her, it does, okay. Does my ultimate give her... The ultimate does give her 2 Memoria as well.
Restore clear skies. Once more.
Break's over.
Then I can follow up with another Memoria stack,
Life is not as fragile as butterfly wings. Darkness.
taking her
Follows
HP, giving
me.
her 2 more Memoria stacks. Then if I summon here, I'm pretty sure it's going to give me a Memoria and also take my Memoria, right?
Let's do that again. All right.
I went up, I was just at 20, and I went up to 39. Was I just at 20? I think I was just at 20, yeah. I'm up to 39, so I just need 19 stacks. If I attack now, it's going to consume all my stacks and deal damage with those stacks. This should probably be enough to one-shot the one on the left. If I have 42 stacks, almost enough to one-shot the one on the left. Okay. And return 2 to me as well. And if I do this heal, she will gain 2 stacks, and then I can follow up to give her another stack.
Next time it rains, I'll be there, umbrella in hand.
Okay. Okay, so every bit of action a Memo Sprite does gives her a stack of Memoria. Okay, so the follow-up attacks do count to give Memoria. Okay. And she gains 2 Memoria from being healed. Then she gained 2 Memoria while Castrice was being buffed. And then she also gains 2 Memoria from when she lost HP. And then she gained a shit ton of Memoria from activating her enhanced skill. Now, her base stats pretty good, honestly. It's same as everything else. But HP heavy as well. Then going on to her traces. What's it called? Memo Sprite. The one, it deals 25% extra damage. And also immune to crowd control debuffs, as we saw. Then it enhances itself to take immediate action, and once enhanced again to do its attack, upon disappearing, increase Evernight's speed by 10%. If the disappearance is due to using its skill, then for every 1 Memoria point consumed by the attack, additionally increase Evernight's speed by 1%, which goes up to 40%. So technically, if we have whatever amount of stacks we have, she's going to get that much speed back. So if you had, say, 16 stacks, she's going to get 16% speed. If she has 40 stacks, she'll get 40% speed. The speed buff effect cannot be stacked and is removed at the start of her turn, which is fair, but sucks that it can't be stacked. But if you could stack it, I guess it would be way too much because you can have like 80% if you cycle it correctly. And let's see. Remembrance, swirling like rain. This ability automatically selects the target, prioritizing the enemy target that Evernight last attacked. Deals ice damage equal to 25% of Eevee's max HP. I don't know how to say its name correctly, so I'm going to just call it Eevee, by the way. And let's see. Eevee's max HP to one enemy. So basically, what's it called? If Evernight had 4,000 HP, not 4,000. What's her name? If Evernight had like my Castrice's HP of 9,000, we built her for HP, and Evernight's then what's it called? Eevee's max HP would be 4,500. Then also, this would probably deal around like 1,125 damage, not counting the damage multipliers from, critical damage, but whatever. Then, for every 4 Memoria Evernight currently has, further increase the ice damage dealt equal to 5% of Eevee's max HP. After that, gain 1 Memoria. Then, just more big damage. 34 Memoria, so basically what? If we had like enough to give us 10 stacks, like 4 divided by 40, that's 10. So basically for every... This would probably go up to like 50%. If I'm doing that math correctly, I'm not too sure. But I'm just gonna roll with it and highball it. Then, let's see. This ability is used when Evernight's Memoria is greater than or equal to 16. She is not affected by crowd control. Okay. For every 1 Memoria point currently held, ice damage dealt is equal to 6% of Evernight's max HP. The primary target, and see, deals damage equal to 3% of Evernight's max HP to adjacent targets. So basically, well, for every 1, this goes up by 6, which would be pretty broken, I guess. That would actually be pretty good broken, because like if you actually got back up to a full 40 stacks, you would do like what? Whatever, so fucking whatever 6 times 40 is, and then you just percent that, I guess. So like you do 240% extra damage, and then everyone else adjacent to them would take 80% damage. Yeah, they would take 80% of that damage. Yeah, so pretty good. And then going on to her technique. Her technique literally just copies her skill, so you get it at the start of battle, which is pretty good. And also you gain Memoria. And then what's it called? After using technique at the start of battle, obtains the same effect as the one from skill that increases critical damage, and this. So you get these basically for your technique. And then going over her skill, consumes 10% of Evernight's max HP. No, 10% of Evernight's current HP to summon Eevee. Increases critical damage of all allies, Mem Spirits, equal to 12% of Evernight's critical damage. So basically, this, I'm pretty sure this was probably at maxed out when we were doing the trial, so we had 64%. But basically, they gain a decent amount of critical damage, and it's for 2 turns. I don't think it stacks either, so I'm gonna say that it doesn't stack. Yeah, it does. I don't think it stacks, so it is what it is. This duration decreases by the start of Evernight's turn every turn. See, if Eevee is already on the field, restores 50% of its max HP. When using this, gain 2 points of Memoria. If in the darkest real state, gain an additional 12%. That's why we gained a lot of Memoria stacks, because we just gained 14. Okay. And then for the talent, when entering combat, summon Eevee. Eevee has a initial speed of 160, and its max HP is equivalent to 50% of Evernight. Each time Evernight or Eevee lose HP, increases the critical damage of Evernight by 30%. Oh, Evernight and Eevee by 30% for 2 turns. Also, you gain 2 Memoria. So whenever she got healed by Heiston's ultimate, and also Heiston herself, I'm pretty sure. I would have to probably look back to remember if she got healed, got Memoria every time she got healed, but I'm pretty sure, I think she did. So what's it called? She gains Memoria pretty easily. This effect can be triggered once per target for each attack received. So basically, every different enemy that actually attacks her, this will just refresh itself. And let's see. When Evernight has 16 or more Memoria, the spell crowd control debuffs and becomes immune to them. If Eevee is on the field, it takes immediate action, and let's see. The immediate action effect can only trigger after Eevee uses Dreaming Dissolve as due, which is this, right? No, this one right here. It's one of these. One of these. Yeah, this. I was right the first time. Once it uses AoE skill. See, the ultimate. Oh, Wakeful World Night. Summon Memoria Eevee, then Eevee deals ice damage equal to 100% of Eevee's max HP. I think this goes up to 200% once that max, and then Evernight enters the Darkest Real State. During this state, all enemies take 15% increased damage, while both Evernight and Eevee deal 30% increased damage and immune to crowd control. So basically 45% damage. And let's see. Gains 2 points of Darkest Charge. Wait. And gains 2 points of charge of the Darkest Riddle. And Eevee consumes 1 point after it uses Dream Dissolving 2. At the start of Evernight's turn, if no charges remain, exits the Darkest Riddle state. Okay. And then this deals damage equal to Evernight's max HP. Then WRC, then this. I feel like bonus abilities are always the most important thing to get when you're leveling up a character's traces. So try to get those first, always, honestly. Because honestly, you could probably just wait on leveling up everything else. Just get the bonus abilities so you have those extra effects. And Kindle the Morn, drop the Rain. So basically, the more Remembrance units we have on our team, the more critical damage we get. So if it's just Evernight, then it's gonna be 5%. Then if it's just Evernight and Trailblazer, it's gonna be 15%. If it's Evernight, Trailblazer, and Hyacinth, why do I keep saying Hyacinth? If it's Hyacinth, it's gonna be 50%. And if it's Evernight, Trailblazer, Hyacinth, and what? Maybe Aglaya or Castrice, you do 65%. So, what's called? Memo Sprites get an additional 65% critical damage, respectively, while Evernight's skill lasts. So once you use her skill, they gain this. Okay. And then increases Evernight's and Eevee's critical rate by 35%. When using an ability, consume 5% of its current HP to increase critical damage for both of them by 15%, lasting for 2 turns. After Eevee uses Dream Dissolving as due, recover 1 skill point for allies. So she's a bit SP positive. And see, when combat starts, Evernight regenerates 70 energy and gains 1 Memoria. Evernight when Evernight or an ally Memo Spirit uses an ability, Evernight gains 5 energy and 1 Memoria. Okay. We gain we gain 1 Memoria each time. Okay. So basically, her critical rate goes up by around 18%. Her HP given to herself goes up by 18%. And her critical damage also goes up by 18%. That's really it. Then if we were to look at these in their max level, her ultimate does do 20%. This is 30% extra damage. No, what's it called? This is 60, so basically 90% damage. This goes up by 24%. That's what would give us the 64% of whatever Evernight's critical damage was during that trial. And this goes up to 60%, which is pretty good. So she actually increases her own critical damage a lot. Then this goes up to 50% of her HP. This goes up to 50%, and then this goes up to 10%. So Evernight at max does big damage, honestly. So she could be a hyper carry if you build her right. And also, this goes up to 12, this goes up to 6, so even more big damage. And then more big damage because this goes up to 50%, and nothing else changes there. So that's really it. And then her Eidolons, I think her second Eidolon we get there, I think that's the most important one. So if you do want to get her at least to E2, that's fine, honestly. And then if 4 more enemies are on the field, this goes down respectively, because the less enemies are on the field, the more damage that's actually going to be dealt. It's from what I'm actually seeing from this. So if there's 4 enemies on the field, it's going to be 120%. If there's 3 enemies on the field, it's going to be 125%. If there's 2 enemies on the field, it's going to be 130%. If there's 1 enemy on the field, it's going to be 150% damage. So, what's called? Like, the damage dealt is going to be equal to this for the less enemies that are going to be on the field. So basically, March shines better. I wouldn't say she shines better in what's it called? Pure Fiction, but I think Mach would be more for March. Also, Apocalyptic Shadow would be more for March. So, I think she'll be great in those 2 game modes, and I'll talk about those later in a separate video. Because I'm kind of hating on Apocalyptic Shadow right now. But, back to this. Increases Evernight's and Eevee's critical damage by 40%. So she gives herself a lot of critical damage. And each time Evernight gains Memoria, she gains an additional 2 Memoria. So this is why I say this is the most important one, because this helps you gain Memoria faster. So anytime she would gain Memoria, she's going to gain additional 2. Let's see. So basically, if you gain 1 point, she gains 3 points. If she gains 2 points, she gains 4 points. So that gives her it way faster. And when she use her ultimate, she gains more charge for her ultimate state. Well, for ultimate state, but for her darkest real state. So that way you keep out big damage, and also you get these 2 charges. So you don't lose that mode faster. And then this increases your skills levels. This, I'm not too sure how I feel about it being break effect, but it's fine. Because it is what it is. Break effect really just slows down enemies, and you just deal damage to them increased while their weakness is broken. But her E6 makes up for that, honestly. Oh my god, her E6 makes up for that, honestly. But honestly, while Evernight is on the field, all ally Memorial sprites weakness break efficiency is increased by 25%, and then Eevee's increased by additional 25%. So Eevee gets a 50% buff. And then this increases skill level. And let's see, while Evernight is on the field, all ally targets, all type resistance pen is increased by 20% after Eevee uses Dream Resolve in his due. Evernight gains 30% of the Memoria she spent back. So it helps her E6 helps her recycle more. I feel like these 2 are the most important. And honestly, if this was at E4, you wouldn't have to get E6 to actually get it. But it is what it is. And if you have her at E6, you'll be able to cycle through her Memoria much faster, so you can keep out big numbers of damage on March. Then going over to her Light Cone. It gives her 30% increased HP, and then this was called the damage dealt by all ally Memo Spirits in Memo Sprites deal. No, they ignore 25%. No, not 25%. Ignore 20% defense, and see, increases the damage dealt by the wearer and their Memo Sprite by 30%, and then at max. Also, yeah, it recovers 8 energy. I forgot to mention that, and the effects cannot stack. But at max, 60% HP increase, and then 30% defense ignored, and 60% damage dealt is increased. So basically, 90% damage is that's how I really think about it. Whenever I hear something that ignores defense, that just means I do whatever damage that is. Whatever defense ignored, I just deal. I think I deal that much extra damage. Man, but honestly, for March's teams, I feel like she's a bit limited to what she can do to get max potential. So, if you were to just run March and Trailblazer, you wouldn't get too much of her buffs, per se. You wouldn't be able to... Just having March alone with Trailblazer was not enough to keep her Memoria up. Because you want to give her Memoria constantly. So what I think is that honestly, she's good. She's really good, honestly. But she is niche to only Remembrance, which makes sense because yes, she's Remembrance character. She is the Remembrance character, and basically, I would have to say I can't really see due to like myself doing too many teams with her, but I'm still going to get her anyway because at least I have 3 Remembrance characters in total, basically, if I get her. Because it'd be Evernight, Cast Rice, Trailblazer, and then I guess slapping in the healer. And I could probably test out to see if um, even Huahua or someone would give her extra HP and Memoria back whenever she gets healed. But other than that, I feel a full team of Remembrance characters would be needed to keep her consistent on Memoria gain so she gets more damage numbers across the board. Because if you're only pulling in around, say, maybe 16 to 20 ish Memoria every time you're going to use your ult, it wouldn't be too good. But even if you're hitting like in the 30s Memoria, it's pretty decent. But I feel like getting the full stacks or getting nearly close to the full stacks is going to be more worth it. So yes, she does gain additional Memoria, so it keeps her consistent. But I feel like she does need a Remembrance team a lot, or at least Remembrance characters that could keep a consistency up of Memoria gain. So even if you didn't have Cash Rice, having Hyacinthia would be good because of the Memoria gain that she gives just from using her ultimate, her skill, and then also every time Ica follows up. So you get 2, 2, and 1. Pretty good. And then Trailblazer will help keep some consistency because I'm pretty sure every time he uses his ult, that counts as Mem also ulting as well. And then every time Mem uses her support buff, that's going to give Memoria as well. And I think what's her name? And I think Mem's follow up attack does count for Memoria. I'll probably have to check and see, but that's really it. But I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and I will see you later. Peace.